Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Generally Irritable. Hello, hello, hello. All right, you guys. We're probably going to have a pretty short episode tonight, but I wanted to make sure to come to you and give you some updates, share with you where we're at on the campaign, and see if you guys have any questions about what comes next, what we do moving forward. So pretty simple episode tonight. It's just going to be me and yeah, here we are. Okay, it is Sunday, August 7th. 2 days away from the primary, August 9th. So if you haven't already voted, make sure that you figure out, number one, that your polling place is still the same, because with the redistricting this year, some polling places have actually changed. You might be in a different district than you were last time. So call your town clerk, make sure you know where to go to vote. That's number one. Let's make sure everybody knows exactly where to vote. Now, in Vermont, they allow same day voting. So for your friends and family who maybe aren't traditionally voters, who are saying, well, I would vote, but I'm not registered. Well, Vermont allows same day registration. So you get a provisional ballot, you can vote, it can be counted. They just verify your identity. As far as I understand, you still have to at least show up with an ID with your current address on it, and or a bill, like a utility bill or something like that, that shows your name and address on it. So just some details to think about. Yeah, so Tuesday is primary day. I got to be honest with you guys, I totally did not plan today's episode. I wasn't even sure I was going to go live, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging right before the primary. We're running around like crazy after the debate on Wednesday, the WCAX debate. We've gotten a ton of feedback. We got a ton of traffic on the website. A new poll just came out today. Where did I put that poll? New poll came out, shows me a third poll shows me leading and actually not trailing the Democrats by as much as we might have expected. With Becca Balint and just with a barrage of ads all over the internet driving everybody crazy. We're with some money and with your help, it is a gap that we can easily overcome for the general election. So this is what we've been trying to really instill in folks so much this year, is that when nearly half, depending on the election, right? So I've been very clear, it's anywhere between 30 and 60% approximately of the electorate normally votes in any given election. Okay. Only about 40 to 50% vote necessarily in the Senate congressional campaigns or races. So we really need people to get out on the field this year. If you're not going to volunteer for a campaign, if you're not going to donate, you at least need to get out and vote. Okay. You need to do your research. You need to make sure that whoever you're voting for shares your values. You're not just voting for the letter behind the name. Okay. That's really, really important this year. Really important is that everyone watching share this video, share my videos, like, share, and subscribe no matter what platform you're on, because all of that helps make sure that we can get seen. The more subscribers I have on YouTube, the more I can do as far as ads and reaching out to people. Some of you have complained that you can see Becca Balint ads on my videos, which is super annoying. But until I have a certain number of subscribers, I can't control who advertises on my page. So if you guys want me to have some control over what ads you see when you watch my videos, you need to go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a show. Somebody's saying I'm voting Dem to get rid of Balint and George. I do not recommend that. I cannot say that enough. We cannot forfeit Republican votes this year, you guys. Ted Kenny is doing good all by himself. Okay. He's doing great all by himself. And Becca Ballant, frankly, is a better competitor. So if you think that voting on the Democrat ticket for Molly Gray is going to somehow benefit me, you are incorrect. Okay. I want to make sure this is crystal clear for everyone. I'm so glad, Liz, that you mentioned it because I know a ton of people who are doing this. Okay. Ted Kenny is doing fine all by himself and he does not need Republicans' help. Okay. We need Republicans to vote. We need you to vote in the primary for who you want. If you want to help Ted Kenny, what you can do is write him in on your ballot. A lot of people don't understand that. You'll see when you pull the Republican ticket, as an example, for state's attorney for Chittenden County, there's going to be no Republican there, but you can write in his name. And then if God forbid he loses the primary to Sarah George, he can run as a Republican. So please, Republicans out there, do not forfeit your vote. Do not think voting for Molly Gray over Ballant is of use to me. That is worse, okay? Becca Ballant is by far the most left candidate. I want to run against her, not Molly Gray. I hear there's a lot of resistance against Zuckerman and Toll too. We cannot have Republicans voting in the Democrat primary. I keep hearing about this, you guys. I can't tell you what damage that does, not only to our ability, your favored candidates to actually win and get a good representation of who's voting and what we're working with, but it also screws up the voter data that we receive as candidates. So when the RNC, the DNC, all of these groups figure out who is who on the voter rolls, if you pull the Democrat primary ticket, you'll show up as a Democrat voter or a swing voter. You won't show up as a Republican, and we won't know that you are one of our voters, and we can reach out to you. So I've heard this from literally dozens and dozens and dozens of Republicans saying they're going to pull the Democrat ticket. Please do not do that. I'm so glad you brought it up so I could say something, because I really needed to, and some folks need to, and people needed to hear that. Alice says, I have every intention of voting. We got to vote. We got to vote, and we got to vote our conscience. You know, we have to vote for people who we believe not only share our values, but can also get elected. We want to make sure that we are letting candidates know what we like, don't like, and what we want to see more of. So if you guys don't vote, you know, and I've been saying this, I've been beating this drum for a while now. If you guys don't vote, we don't know what really matters to you. So we hear all the time there's a silent majority of Republicans, but they don't come out and vote. So as far as the polls, as far as the numbers that we've been getting from consulting firms and things like that, they say there's about 50,000 Republicans, about 100,000 Democrats, and then about 300,000 independents and moderates. So that's 450,000 approximately of the 490,000 registered voters. But again, when only about 30 or 40% of you show up in any given election, maybe 50, 60%, we don't know who is voting for us. We don't know how to reach you guys. That is the one thing. If anybody's watching this and can give me an idea. So for some of the rural counties, especially, right? We don't have phone numbers for these folks. We're not necessarily going to reach them through social media, and mailers are incredibly expensive. I mean, significantly, amazingly, righteously expensive. Okay. And so either we need people to donate so we can afford those mailers to reach the people who are not going to see my YouTube videos normally, or not going to see YouTube ads, Facebook ads, things like that. We need to overcome that somehow. So sharing videos with people through email, texting your friends and family, emailing them my newsletter. Make sure also, if you are a supporter, please go to ericareddick.com or reddickforcongress.com, go to the connect page and sign up for the newsletter. This is a great way for you to receive information from us about what's going on with the campaign, how you can volunteer, and you can share that with your friends and family by just forwarding the email. It's an awesome, easy way to stay in touch and to get the word out. Okay. Let's see. Swing voters, Liz says, swing voters, no, it's not beneficial to you, but blue dogs and old Dems kick out the trash in primaries. Well, I'm not sure what you mean. I would say it is super important. And yeah, normally it is the diehards that get out in the primaries. Normally the independents and moderates are not necessarily the ones showing up for the primary. It's the diehards, but that's all the more reason why we need to make sure Republicans vote in the Republican primary, because there's about half of us compared to the Democrats. And so if we forego our votes, that is not good. Yes, we need to get people out of there. Let me see. I just saw another question. Sarah says, if ballots are secret, they cannot track what type of ballot we use. Yeah, they're not secret. They're not secret. We can tell what ballot you pulled. So the reporting that we get, we get a list of all the registered voters and whether or not they voted in the primary and what primary ballot they pulled. That's the only way we can tell Democrats from Republicans, to be honest with you guys. So we get this massive amount of data from the RNC, but it's not verified. And because we don't have party registration here, the only way we can even guess what party affiliation you have is by the primary ballot that you pull. And so a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people have no idea that that's the case. And so unfortunately, what happens is that, again, we don't know who we're calling. So we'll have, folks who are diehard Democrats who maybe pulled the Republican ticket because they wanted to vote for Phil Scott or something like that. So it makes it very confusing and very hard to figure out who our voters are. It is so challenging. All the more reason, go to ReddickForCongress.com and go to the Connect page and make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. Okay, anybody who's got questions, feel free to shoot them right in the chat. So Tuesday, I'm going to be at my polling place in the morning. I'm going to go vote here in Burlington, and then we're going to hit the road. We're going to be driving around Chittenden County, and probably maybe Franklin and Addison, some of the neighboring counties, just so we can stay nearby for the evening. And I'm really excited. We're going to be hanging out with the Chittenden County GOP. I personally was like, I think I would rather just stay home with nobody around. And I was told that that was not a good idea. So we're going to be going and hanging out. Apparently the press shows up and they want to chit chat with everybody. So it should be interesting. Liz, I always get calls from both. You're the only one that has gotten money from me. Thank you. Well, hey, any donation helps. Any donation helps. Okay. Think about this, Liz. If every Vermonter who identifies as a Republican, or even who identifies as a Republican, we'll just say that, if the number is about 50,000, if every one of those people donated just $10 to my campaign, I'd have $500,000. Seriously. If every Republican just donated $10 to my campaign, I'd have $500,000. And I could annoy the crap out of you guys with my YouTube ads like Becca is. I love it. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to be hanging out on Tuesday. What else do you guys need to know? Go check out the WCAX debates. I think it's really interesting. I'm debating whether or not to do a recap video of them. It is very clear, once again, that the questions are not really geared at determining whether or not we're competent enough to be Vermont's next Congress people. It's about trying to paint us into a corner and align us with various other Republican politicians and events that have happened. And I just think it's really unfair, especially when you watch the Democrat debate, because they get actual substantive questions that are open-ended and allow them to pontificate and wax poetically about how they're going to save you and your family, which is absolutely ridiculous. One of my favorite Reagan quotes was 9 most dangerous words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. You should be very afraid of any politician who says that they can fix or change your life, and how they conflate things. Ken, I can come to Addison County. Shoot me a direct message, a private message. Tell me where your polling place is, and I'll come visit you. I can do that. Let's see. WCAX is willing to report more on Hunter Biden's laptop than they would give any good coverage to a Vermont Republican. It is, fish and chips. It is very strange, the things that they choose to focus on. And it's clear what their bias is. We've all talked about this for years. And let me just state for the record, they were all very polite. Everyone at the news station was very polite and very nice. And I am really curious if they understand their level of implicit bias, to use their terms, and their level of prejudice that they have against Republicans. I am really curious if they understand that, to be perfectly honest with you. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, that they're not evil or malicious, that they just are unaware, ill-informed, and things like that. And especially a good example of this is their coverage of the shooting in Burlington last week? Oh my gosh, you guys, the end of this campaign every single day is rolling together. So I think it was 2 weeks ago, the shooting in downtown Burlington where the guy broke in, killed the guy, injured the woman, and then I believe killed himself, or they killed him. They talk to the police, they cover the story, and then they have an interview with the guy from Gun Sense Vermont talking about why we need to get rid of all the guns. Okay, that is a very clear bias. Why didn't you either also interview someone from Gun Owners of Vermont or the NRA or something like that, talking about why it's so important to be armed and trained to learn how to protect yourself and your family? So you can just tell the bias in the things that they choose to cover or not cover. And so we really need your help to overcome that this year. We're really going to need your help in this campaign to overcome these hurdles. Obviously, I want you to donate to my campaign, but I also would love to see people start donating to True North Reports, Vermont Daily Chronicle, and other organizations like that, conservative Ethan Allen Institute, conservative organizations that bring you news, facts, and information that you need that's important to you. We need to support these organizations so they can continue to speak on our behalf and highlight Republican candidates, highlight conservative candidates, and the other topics and issues that are important to you here in Vermont. I get the vast majority of my news in state from Vermont Daily Chronicle. Yep, exactly. There you go, fish and chimps. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And Liz, you said something really important. Now I'm trying to remember. Totally lost I was just going to say it. I was talking about why it's so important to support conservatives. I'll think of it. I will think of it. And okay. So Tuesday. Oh yes, I did see the thing about increasing on Vermonters. And here's the thing is right now, the state of Vermont is the largest employer in the state. They utilize the most of our tax dollars to pay salaries and benefits for their employees, most of whom make at least as much or more than the average Vermonter. The average Vermont income is $59,000 and some change. But these folks, state employees, get more than that. Plus, they get benefits and pensions and things like that paid for out of your labor. And while I do not begrudge people who work for the state or work for the city, I don't believe that they should ever make more than the median income. And I don't believe that they should have better benefits than the median Vermonter. It does not make sense that you're going to take so much money out of my own pocket that I can't afford my own health insurance, but you're going to take my money and pay for your health insurance when I don't make enough to pay for mine. I think it's outrageous and I think it's unconscionable. And this idea that we can just tax and tax and tax, print money, print money, print money, borrow, borrow, borrow. It is madness. We learn very young that this is not the way to deal with our own personal finances. And the idea that the state of Vermont and the federal government believes that it can do that without consequence is leadership disqualifying. There is no way Becca Balint or Molly Gray should be let anywhere near Vermont's congressional seat. I don't care if you vote for one of my opponents on the Republican ticket, but those two women support the gas prices that we're seeing. They support the chaos that we're seeing in security. They support taxing the hell out of fossil fuels and everyone, the rich, which they don't understand that the rich is actually the working class Vermonter who has to pay their property taxes, has to pay their income taxes, the veteran and the retired person who has to pay on their military benefits, has to pay taxes on military benefits and Social Security. Are you crazy? I mean, this is wild. Now, this is not something I'll be able to address as Vermont's next congresswoman. This is a state issue, but it's all the more reason why every single person, every single Democrat and progressive that holds office in Vermont needs to be voted out of office. Vermonters need to understand that the pain that we are feeling, whether it's at the pump, the baby formula shortages, in food inflation, wage stagnation, employment, not being able to find employees, all of these problems are a direct result of Democrat control and Democrat leadership, whether it's here in Vermont or at the federal level. We are seeing the failure of their policies by the lack of security, whether it's in our homes or nationally. We see the uptick in suicides and drug overdose deaths. You have less money in your pocket. You're less able to run your business. There is nothing good that is coming out of this Biden administration, out of this Congress, or out of the Vermont state legislature. And we really need to do something about it. Oh, you guys, I got myself ranting here. We're ranting. Let's see. Oh, wow. The state is trying to hire at $14.75 for bachelor's degrees. For what? For hard jobs. Yeah, what are they doing? What are they doing with our money, you guys? What are they doing? With all that money that they got from the federal government, all that printed money, all that borrowed money that they got, they didn't even shore up our budget holes. They didn't shore up the pension. They didn't make sure that state employees' pension was fully funded. They did not make sure that transportation was funded. So all this talk about roads and bridges and infrastructure, oh, we love the roads and bridges and infrastructure. It puts people to work, right? Well, then how come, if I recall correctly, $40 million shortfall for the budget next year, $60 million shortfall the year after that, $80 million shortfall the year after that. So they got all these hundreds of millions and lots of money. And what they did was they paid for a bunch of one-off things or created new departments and governments that are now going to have to figure out how to be funded. We have the largest budget of any in state history. Was it 6.4 billion? Don't quote me on that, you guys. I remember it was some astronomically stupid number for a state of 500,000 people. Okay. 600 and some change thousand people. And you've shut down our farms, our industry, businesses are leaving. We lost like 25% of our restaurants. Like, you guys screwed up the economy. You screwed us up here. And then you can't even have the courtesy to understand how much you harmed Vermonters to cut back on the budget so that maybe some of us could have a little extra cash in our pockets. You instead wrote the largest budget of Vermont's history. Again, leadership disqualifying. Every single one of those people should be out of office. If you are in whatever district you're in, if you have the ability to vote for a Republican, I don't care what kind of Republican they are. I don't care if they're a Phil Scott Republican, a Donald Trump Republican, a Calvin Coolidge Republican, a Reagan Republican. I do not care. Vote Republican. Vote anybody who is right of center. because we just have to stop the hemorrhaging. We just have to stop the hemorrhaging. And people need to understand, need to make the connection. It is the Democrats creating the pain that you are feeling right now, period. Vermont is wildly overrepresented by Chittenden County in the state house, and it's all Democrats and progressives. These people are creating policies and spending your money and doing things in such a way that it hurts you. Don't let them do it. Okay, I'm ranting again. Oh, let's see. Unfortunately, Vermonters need to wake up and see what's going on in Montpelier. That's right, Ken. It is wild. It is absolutely wild. And it really is. People don't understand the connection. People don't understand that those the stimmies, as the kids call them, the stimulus checks we received are the reason that we have the inflation right now. The outrageous government spending is the reason we have inflation right now. The government printing money and devaluing your investments, your retirement, your savings, that's why we're feeling the pain of inflation right now. Government lockdowns, government policies about who is essential and who's allowed to go to work and take care of their families are creating the wage stagflation, and all of the problems in businesses. Labor shortages and all this other stuff, all government policy. And then they want to come in and say that they can save you. So many of our problems are caused by the government. And then they want to come in and say that they have a solution. Just like Becca Ballot and Molly Gray, supporting lockdowns, saying whether or not people are essential, forcing you to take medications that you do not need and did not ask for. They support those things. Do you really want them to have more power in Washington? What is it worth to you? How much of your time, how much of your money would it be worth it to you to have $1.89 gas again? What would it be worth to you to have a sane government not taxing the hell out of you? How much would that be worth to you? Is it worth $10 to go to ericareddick.com and make a donation? Is it worth an hour or two a week for the next 8 weeks to help win a campaign? What would you be willing to sacrifice in order to have sanity restored, accountability, transparency, and integrity restored to our federal government? Yes, cheap gas is a race to everyone, Liz. You are absolutely correct. The government was originally funded by alcohol tax. For real? Is that for real? I have never heard this. It says that in today's dollars, that would be $11 billion to fund the federal government. I'm okay with that. This is what I said. This is my thing. And I'd say this, my libertarian friends hate this, but I am happy to pay taxes, some taxes, if I know that the money is actually going to the people we say that need it and for the projects that we say we want to fund. Okay. So if we're paying taxes and there's not record amounts of fentanyl pouring across the border, killing record amounts of Americans with overdoses, would I pay taxes for that? Absolutely. Do I want to make sure it's not getting into the hands of a bunch of bureaucrats who don't actually care? Yes, absolutely. We need to make sure there's not fraud. First few years paid for by alcohol tax. No kidding. The federal government in the beginning was very limited in what they could do. And that is true. So when people talk, we get asked all the time by press and stuff like that, what we think about the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And this is what people need to understand, regardless of your position on the topic, regardless of your position on any given Supreme Court ruling. The reality is the Supreme Court's only job is to determine whether or not a law is unconstitutional or not. That's it. That's their only job. They're not supposed to be politicized. We're not supposed to care who they voted for. We're not supposed to know any of that. We're supposed to be able to trust that that their one mandate, which is why it's an unelected, not well, that's a whole okay, let me not go down the rabbit trail. Their only job is to determine if something is unconstitutional or not. It is supposed to be an apolitical body. We shouldn't be able to tell what your politics are because you're just determining whether or not something is constitutional. The problem is we can tell their politics because of the way that they vote on things. And they vote for things to stand that are unconstitutional. So everyone should be grateful. Everyone should be grateful. I think it's good. I think it's really good. So I'm not, Liz says, I'm not happy to pay taxes. We're being bankrupt. I agree with you. Let's be real. I do agree with you. We're paying, I believe our property taxes are $12,000. I got to double check. We had an issue where we had a credit and then it goes back and forth. So maybe like 10, but yeah, our property taxes are still 10 grand. And what are we getting for it? Seriously, what exactly are we getting for it? We're not getting well-educated kids. Burlington School District is not good. It is not, it does not even compare in the rest of the nation. We're not getting good roads, certainly, because Burlington roads are absolute garbage. Even the roads they just finished paving are not well done. There's all these problems with the pothole or manhole covers and stuff like that. They don't even fit correctly. So what are we getting? We don't have a police force because you guys defunded them. So why didn't we get a refund in our property taxes now that there's only 60 or so police officers instead of 105? So I don't know. I don't know what we're getting. I don't know what we're getting for all this money. Let's see. Spending some time. Oh man, Thunder Road. I need to get to Thunder Road this year. There was a car that well, I guess I sponsored, technically, that's how you'd say it. I sponsored a car at Thunder Road for my 2020 election. I should get down there again. I should call Josh and see how he's doing. See if I can get on a car. Anybody want to sponsor my campaign by putting me on your car? Or I guess, again, technically, I would be sponsoring you. So you would put my name on your car. I think that'd be dope. Anybody else, if you have any ideas like that, we need to get creative getting the word out. Okay. Everybody thinks, oh, well, you're just going to do paper ads and radio ads and whatever. All that stuff costs a ton of money. And half the time people throw out those pieces of paper or, disregard the ads. They skip through them. They change the channel. We need creative ways to reach people. Anybody got one of those planes that pulls a little flag behind it? We can get you a Reddick for Congress flag to pull on your plane. What are the, hot air balloon? Hot air balloons, boats. What is some other random stuff we could put my name on? I believe we're going to be getting, oh, you know what? We got to talk to Nicole about car magnets. Sorry, guys. I'm writing this down. Car magnets. And yeah, so holler at your girl. Send me some stuff. Shoot me messages if there's a fair in your town or an event in your town. I can't be at everything, but you guys can be. We collectively can be anywhere. If you have a fair in your town or an event, farmers markets don't let you usually table, but you could go in a Reddick for Congress t-shirt with some flyers and just talk to people. We need to activate everyone to be their own little campaign representative. And so if you go to ericareddick.com or reddickforcongress.com, there's a page called Go Bag, Grassroots Go Bag. You can download my campaign materials and just print them off at home and distribute them around your town. Print them out, put flyers on people's cars in the grocery store, Walmart in your town, whatever it is. Do that. You are empowered. It's why it's right on the website. If you don't feel like you can afford the printing or that doesn't work for you, but you want to do something, let us know. We'll get you some campaign materials. We'll figure it out. I love it. Let's see. Oh, gross. Fish and Chimps is saying something about there's a bunch of dead animals on the highway not being picked up. Is that because we don't have Like highway people working? That's gross, dude. Well, the Supreme Court had told you to pound sand because laws may have passed. It's an oligarchy. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Elizabeth, but you are correct. It is part of the problem. We do not live in an oligarchy. So we're not supposed to have, whether it's 5 justices in Vermont or 9 justices federally, deciding our laws. That is what the legislature is for. And the thing that we've kind of been dancing around tonight as we talk about how small the federal government used to be and the way that things used to be, um, is is we've just gotten so far away from what our government is supposed to look like. Okay, we there's supposed to be gridlock. Okay, the federal government is supposed to be small, very limited in scope and ability to do anything, very limited in enforcement and things like that. And yet now they have all of this control and all of this power. They've taken it away from the states. They've used the Supreme Court to legislate from the bench. But the reality is the separation of powers was set up specifically to create gridlock in the federal government so that they couldn't do much and they couldn't affect our lives. And so every time we do something to subvert those separation of powers, we make things worse for ourselves here in this country. And we absolutely need to stop doing that. We absolutely need to. Hogger, I don't know if I'm saying that right, said, I saw your debate last week. Good job. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The big thing is just trying to be, we just want people to know. Let me say, I just want people to know being a constitutional conservative means that you can actually pretty well anticipate how I'm going to vote, what I'm going to vote for, things I'm going to support, and how I will legislate as Vermont's next congresswoman. Knowing that I have that foundation and that is that's my platform. The Constitution is the platform I'm running from. And that's what I want to uphold. I actually want to uphold my oath to protect the Constitution. And with that actually allows for the candidates or the elected officials to be very reasonable and rational and know how to represent their people well as a foundation. Ken says, you once mentioned that hunters are possibly not voting. Maybe speak with gun shop owners to get them educated on the importance. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Vermont Field and Sports. Okay. Yep. Go to visit Vermont Field Sports Rack and Reel. You know what? That's a really good idea because you're right. What I keep hearing a lot is that a lot of our 2A people, are just checked out. They're just checked out because they feel betrayed by other elected officials who said that they were pro Second Amendment, who turned out not to be. I can tell you right now that if I voted for gun restrictions or to take the weapons of self-protection out of Americans' hands, my husband would be very upset with me. So that's not happening. That is not happening. So it would be good to talk directly to those folks. I wish you were governor. Oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hogger, tell me if I'm pronouncing that right. Write how to pronounce your name phonetically in the chat for me. What a crazy set of ideals talking about the Constitution. That was really funny. Let's see. Brian says they keep control over the states because we're bribed by the federal government. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. It is so true. I keep hearing Becca Ballant and Molly Gray talk about how they're going to be just like Patrick Leahy and bring all this money back to Vermont and all these earmarks. And I go, I don't think that's good. Why do Vermonters think that it's the responsibility of the rest of the country to pay our bills? Why do you think that it's okay to take money out of the pockets of Floridians to pay our bills? We're not poor because we don't have resources. Vermont isn't poor because we don't have great minds and thoughtful people. We're poor because of government overreach here. Okay. All these businesses are leaving because we are taxed too much. All these young people and families leaving because of the high taxes and high regulations, how hard it is to run a business here. In Texas, you don't get charged income tax on your business income until you've made $10 million. I want that to sit in. I want that to settle in for people. In the state of Texas, if you own a business, you are not taxed until you've until you've made at least $10 million. So it is incredibly business friendly because they want people to start businesses and be entrepreneurial. Vermont does not support that kind of stuff. They want you to have a permit, a freaking license. They want you to be registered. I mean, it costs you $500 before you've even started. It's outrageous. It's absolute nonsense. Oh, I'm saying it right. Okay, thank you, Hogger. I appreciate it. It is just absolutely outrageous. We just need to make, again, you guys listening, make sure you get out, vote in your primary, and then vote in November and bring at least like 6 or 10 friends with you to vote too, because we need people. I fight with people. Well, maybe not fight with people. I could get in trouble for that. Argue with people, not fight physically, but, argue, persuade people that their vote matters. Do you know how many people I talk to who don't vote because they say, oh, my vote doesn't matter? Well, in the Ward 4 city council election, 4 votes certainly mattered because we ended up with the progressive counselor instead of the moderate independent counselor who got the Democrat and Republican nominations. So your vote matters. Your vote absolutely matters. We need everybody out there. Okay. Now I said I was going to make this a short a short episode, and then I started all my, ranting and pontificating about things. Let me think about what else to update you guys on. This week is going to be a little quiet with the campaign. Just taking some time to get the calendar updated, see what events are coming up, get into integrity with my clients, make sure that everyone is up to date and cleaned up and tidy. You live in Ward 7. Awesome. You're one of my people in the New North End. I love it. Make sure you vote and say hi to Jeff Comstock. Probably Nancy Comstock will be volunteering at your polling place too on Tuesday. I bet they are. Jeff is the inspector of elections. They're awesome. And okay, what else? Somebody asked me to get trucker caps on the website in the merch shop. I'm going to see if we can do that easily. Win Red is cool because you can put all this merch up and they drop ship and take care of everything for you. So I'm going to see if I can get them on there. Otherwise, we'd have to get somebody to buy all the hats to then resell them. So Allison asked me for those. Let me see what I can do. What else? Oh, I got the Health Choice Freedom folks. I just got a questionnaire I'm going to fill out for them. That'll probably go out today or tomorrow. I got a term limits questionnaire to fill out with a national organization. Apparently my name got searched a bunch on their website. So they reached out to me and said, here's a questionnaire, fill it out. And I was like, well, I talk about term limits all the time. This is perfect. So we got the Health Choice Freedom folks, the Vermont Stands Up folks. These are our people. A lot of the people who are members, if you will, of Health Choice Freedom or Vermont Stands Up are not Republicans. They're not conservatives, but they are people who understand the importance of bodily autonomy and the dangers of government overreach. And so, if you are one of those folks, if you are in contact with those groups or those folks, please spread the word that I am in agreement with you and that I do not believe the government should be able to mandate that you take a vaccine or anything else to be able to do your job. I think that is absolutely wrong. Another poll came out with me in the lead, you guys. Another poll. Which one is it? We got to get you to co-host WVMT one morning or two. Heck yeah, dude. Shoot. How do I get in touch with them? Have them get me on. Who do I need to talk to? I reached out to Kurt and Anthony about trying to come on Monday or Tuesday. We'll see if they get back to me. It's probably kind of late, but if there's anybody that we can get in touch with at any radio stations or anything like that around the state, hook a sister up. Email me. Go to ericareddick.com, reddickforcongress.com. There's an email address there. Contact at ericareddick.com. Make sure you spell it correctly. And connect me with the local newspaper or a local radio station in your area. Happy to go on. Let's see. Okay. Awesome chat, you guys. Any other quick questions before we hop off? Oh. Let me hey, I'm going to play a quick ad for our today's show sponsor. So for those of you I'm going to record a new video for this. But betterhelp.com, you guys, we talk about mental health in this campaign all of the time. It gets brought up in every debate, every candidate forum, everything all the time. Everyone is talking about it. We have the most depressed people we've ever had. We have the most anxious people we've ever had. We have the most suicides and drug overdoses we've ever had. People are really, really struggling. And so that's why I'm really excited to have a sponsor like betterhelp.com, because not only does it help my campaign, but it helps people in the way that I say that we need to be helped. We don't have a discount code for people yet. Does that matter? We have another, you guys, we have another sponsor for the show. That is awesome. Hold on. You want so hold on. Okay. All right. Thank you, honey. I have the best husband in the whole wide world, you guys. Okay, hold on. I'm going to play this ad for betterhelp.com. Seriously, if you guys are struggling emotionally, holler at these guys. Use the code generally irritable to get a discount. So here we go. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. I don't know about you, but I've definitely struggled with some emotional stuff the last couple of years. I need someone to talk to that's not just my husband or friends or family. I need somebody who's experienced and licensed and trained to listen and help me work through the fear and the anger and the frustration that I've been feeling over the last couple years with these lockdowns. So you too can go to BetterHelp and schedule an appointment with one of their 20,000 licensed therapists. So you go on, you fill out a questionnaire. Within 48 hours, they've paired you with someone who has experience in the field that you specifically are wanting help with. Then you schedule secure video and phone sessions, plus unlimited messaging. And all of this is secure and confidential. Join the over 2 million people who have already taken charge of their mental health. We've got a special offer for our viewers. 10% off your first month of services when you use the special code generally irritable. So you want to go to betterhelp.com, that's betterhelp.com/generally irritable and start saving today. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this episode. All right, you guys, thank you for bearing with me on that ad. This totally does not go with my hoodie, but I figured I'd put it on. We also have another new sponsor, Perihelion Jewelry. Yes, that is hard to say, just as hard to say as it is to spell. So if you go to jewelryvt.com, you can check out all the amazing jewelry made by Miss Shannon Bundy. She goes to the farmer's market in Grand Isle every Saturday. Her stuff is absolute. Look at this. Look at these pearls. Flora, who was at the Washington County GOP event Friday night. She had this amazing strand of pearls on. And then I saw these pearls at the farmer's market on Saturday. And I was like, I need that necklace. So this is the necklace. It'll look way better on with a different outfit, but I'm showing you anyway. These are her earrings too. Little flowers, super cute, super pretty. And that's actually really hard to see. But anyway, Blah, 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 blah. You guys, go get help if you need it. For real. There's no shame in needing a therapist. There's no shame in needing help sometimes. The reality is, we don't really get taught proper dealing with emotional issues. I know it's not just me. It's not just the way that I grew up. And the evidence of that is how miserable and unhappy everybody is. That's why Benjamin and I talk all the time about the need for understanding your purpose and chasing after that, fighting for it, going for your purpose. Because once you identify your purpose, you you go out and you start working towards it, and that helps shape your identity and the way that you feel about yourself. And it also puts you in community with people, and that fosters the sense of belonging that we all need as human beings. And so, if you're having trouble, if you're struggling with anything, get help, figure it out. It doesn't mean you're broken, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. We just need a little extra help sometimes. So go to betterhelp.com today. And okay, you guys, let's see. All right. So I think we'll wrap it up there for today. We're gonna wrap up a little bit early. I know this isn't one of my more exciting episodes, but it's a good catch up on the campaign. We're feeling really good going into Tuesday, but uh I don't want that to make anybody complacent. Yes, we've been ahead in the three polls that we've seen, but don't let that be a reason to not go vote on Tuesday. We need you to go. We need you to pull a Republican ticket, vote for Republican candidates. And I said it at the top of the show, so I'll just repeat it one more time in case we have new folks here. If you're thinking about voting in the Democrat primary because you think that that's going to help Republicans, you are not correct. Okay, so if you are in Chittenden County and you want to vote for Ted Kenny, write him in on your ballot. Do not pull a Democrat primary ballot, pull a Republican primary ballot and write him in on the ballot. State's attorney will be blank for Republicans because I believe nobody is running as a Republican. So there will be a line for you to write someone in. Okay, write in Ted Kenny. And then if God forbid he loses the Democrat primary, he can still run as a Republican. So that is my advice to you. Do not get on there and vote for Molly Gray thinking that's going to be a good idea, because she's less crazy or less left than Becca Ballant. Okay, Becca Ballant is the better candidate to run against because she is so far left. Okay, I would rather have her as my opponent because she is so far left. We don't need someone who at least appears to be a moderate Democrat, which Molly Gray is not, but she at least is trying to appear that way. Okay. Do not mess with them, you guys. Do not help the Democrats. They do not need your help. We do. We need you guys to vote on the Republican primary. So I need to stress that. I need to stress that. And I need you guys to tell everyone that you know who's thinking about doing that to not do that. Do not vote in the Democrat primary if you're a Republican. Do not do that. Share with people that they can do write-ins. Share with people that they have other options, because we don't need Republicans interfering with the Democrat primary and ending up making it worse for everyone in the end. And that goes both ways. We don't need Democrats voting in our primary either. We need folks to stay in their lane, support the candidates so that we can have good information to go by, and let let the chips fall where they may. All right, you guys, have a good evening. I'm going to leave you be. I might do a quick episode on Wednesday, just depending on how things go. We might shoot a quick live on Wednesday, but I'm not sure yet. But definitely be on the lookout for next Sunday. Next Sunday will be a wrap up of the campaign, some updates. I don't know if I'm going to have a guest yet. We haven't decided. I left it open on purpose because we're curious how the election is going to go. So, because I might want to have someone on like a Ted Kenny to talk about what his plans are in the general election. I'm really excited for his candidacy. I'm really excited to see Sarah George out of the state's attorney's office as everyone else is. He is running a very strong campaign. He is crushing it. Again, Republicans do not vote in the Democrat primary. So we're not sure, but I believe The August 14th episode is, wait, is it the 14th? So the 21st, the August 21st episode, I think is going to be really fun. I'm not going to give you any clues, but I think it's going to be really fun and really interesting. So you'll want to make sure you come back next Sunday and every Sunday. Go ahead, make sure you have liked or subscribed to the channel, depending on what social media platform you're on. Make sure you like and share this video, do all of the things so that we can help spread the message and ride the red wave in November. All right. Good night, everybody.